Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, well, good morning, everyone. I'm excited. I see a couple of our students that I've had some calls with this far, and I want you guys today, number one, because it's being recorded, I want you just to come here and just receive today. So if you're one of our coaching students, you get access to these recorded calls and they're in the platform. And if you can't find them, email Heather and she'll send it over. um, so most of you, if you're in my coaching program, know my story that I didn't get into professional development until 2006. I graduated from Texas Tech University in 2001. So for 5 years, I stopped growing. I was like, oh, I'm never taking a test again. I made it. Like you think when you graduate from college, like, oh, my life's like, I'm here. This is great. I never picked up a book again. I didn't, they didn't really have like YouTube and stuff back then. I went to like Bible study when I could with my mom, but I really stopped growing. And then I got into this industry and I had a goal to make a certain amount. And I started hanging out with other people and going to these brainstorming groups, which are now called mastermind groups. And they were talking about way bigger numbers and they were talking about practices that really went over my head. I was like, well, what's that? And what's that? And so long story short, the practices that I've learned with professional development, my mom had already brainwashed me when I was little because I grew up Christian and I still am a Christian. And she would tell me to thank our creator as if things were already happening in our lives. And I would see some really cool stuff happen. Well, then in the professional development world, I learned the different domains of life. I learned certain practices that I would put in place, and then I would put my spiritual side into it in my practices. And it has given me levels of success that I never, ever thought that I could reach. So I've learned these from others and I've created my own unique mechanism. I humbly say I've made the millions and I feel completely unfulfilled once I got there. It was a mirage that I was chasing, and I was like, okay, I'm divorced, I'm married again, and I'm stressed with um blended family stuff. I'm stressed with, they say more money, more problems. I mean, it's the truth. And so it was just, I didn't really like where I had gotten because I wanted to have money because I didn't grow up with it. And I wanted to have things that I didn't get to have for my children, that I just wanted them to live a different life than I did. So I readjusted probably um 8 years ago, 8 years ago. And it has been a whole different level of professional development to me. The things that I put on my dream board these days aren't um, aren't material things that I used to put on there that have already come to fruition. Like I was laughing with my husband. I said, I get to teach and coach people even though I'm on the same path as them. I'm on the same path as them, but I get to be the teacher today. And I'm so excited because there has been material things with my personality, all this different stuff that I've put on dream boards that have come to fruition. And I want you guys today to have an open heart. Don't worry about, oh, let me write what she's saying, because we will send this out. And if you're one of my coaching students, I'm going to walk you down this, hold you accountable. And so don't worry, just come in and receive right now. So the first thing I wanted to go over was 5 reasons briefly why you're not making your goals right now. Because I know if you're in our coaching program, I know if you're on this call, that you have set goals either last year or in the past, and you have not reached some of them. So one of the first ones is you're settling. And when it comes to settling in life, you're either suffering not to suffer. Like one of those is like a woman like being beat, but she doesn't want to leave because of her kids in the home. That's like that. Or if you're in a dead end job, you're like, oh, to find another job and to do that. That's like suffering not to suffer because you don't want to make some decisions in your life. Um, Another way that we suffer, I mean, that we settle is you've made your goals and you are living in your vision and you're like, okay, I'm here, I made it. You're settling here because there's always a next level. And another reason why you're settling is you believe it is going to be too much work to get to that next level. That's the story you're telling yourself. The second reason that you're not making your goals is you may have a box that's a best friend, whether it's a television or a cell phone. Do you know that the average American watches 4 hours of TV every day? Over a week, that's 30 hours of your life in front of a box. Mix in with social media, imagine what that is, or blend it in together. We'll say phone and TV together. That's 4 hours, which is 30 hours a week. And if you dedicate 1 hour of your television or social media time at night, you could clean a room, learn a new language, walk off a few hundred calories that you ate that day. You can read a couple chapters in a book about whatever that goal that you're going towards is. There's a lot of things that you can do with that 1 hour. And I want to encourage you to track your time this week on TV and your cell phone. And you might be thinking, I don't watch that much. But if you think about those calculations, 4 hours times 30, by the time you're 60 years old, you will have spent 15 years of your life in front of a box. So remember, your time is your life. And if you waste your time, you waste your life. The third reason why you may not be making your goals is you make excuses. So they say we give ourselves excuses when we don't want to admit that we are aware that we are where we are because of our own choices. So if you really want something bad, you will find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. So the last one is going to be that I hear from a lot of realtors, and I find myself going back there a little bit, that you relive the good old days when it was busy in real estate, when you were working with this high referral client and now they've been taken to somewhere else, when you were working at another real estate company and it was easier to recruit and bring people in. Life was a lot easier and you're like, oh, I just remember the good old days. So if you find yourself living in the past, thinking like your best days are behind you, and you're still talking about yesterday, it means you're not doing enough today. So for time's sakes, and again, we have a hard stop at 10:30 on today's call, I'm going to show you and give you a taste of what Sammy and Dawn have had so far, and a few other of our coaching students, and what I do personally. I've been in the personal development world since 2006. I have coached with the Tony Robbins organization for 17 years. I've been a John Maxwell coach for over 10 years. And I have created my own unique mechanism of how they do it and other people do it. And this is what I've done for 12 years, this practice. And again, I'm just going to give you a taste. I'm not going to dive all in. Coaching students, you have access to the link so we can do this one-on-one. Sammy, I'm going to send your homework today. You're on my to-do list, by the way. And so we're going to dive right in. So what I'm going to show you is a taste of what I'm doing with the coaching students right now. And if you pay attention and you hold yourself accountable, I'm going to teach you how to get exactly what you want in 2025. When I'm talking today, I want you to quiet that voice. There's a voice, and you can quiet right now. There's a voice in our head. I don't really know what it is. It's our mind, and it says crazy things. I call it my evil twin. My mom calls it the enemy. There's some people call it Keller Williams calls it the drunk monkey. Like there's all this little voice that tells you what you're not, that you can't, that you this. I want you to quiet that voice because it is telling you that, oh, that's not possible. How are you going to do that? Another thing it's going to tell you right now is, oh, I already know what she's saying. Well, I've done that before with my coach when I've said, hey, I want you to teach me that next level. I've already gotten to this, and that. What's new? And she asked me, well, do you have this, and this done? The basics of professional development. I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, when's the last time you updated it? And I don't lie to my coach because I pay her a lot of money to kick me in the tail, to hold me accountable. Why am I going to lie? Just lying to myself. I'm like, well, you know what? I really haven't updated those lists, and some of this other stuff is old. So she's like, yeah. She's like, it's because it's those basics that are done over and over that creates the real success. And when you do that, then you'll be ready. I'll teach you NLP. Then I'll be ready. I'll teach you all this other stuff. So don't think right now, oh, I already know this stuff. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 things, and again, that I'm briefly going to talk about. I can dive into more one-on-one. But the first thing I'm having the Dons, the Sammys in my life do right now is I want you to sit down with a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to write down whatever falls into your head and your heart. So your heart and your head, whatever is coming to mind, you write it down. You have to literally sit there and listen to your heart. It's like, what is it saying? And whatever it is, write it down. If you're like, well, that's weird. It says like that. I was doing that this morning when I was walking the dog. I was like, oh, because I do this practice myself. And so I was like, what's falling into my head right now? Like, what am I? And I was like, that I will have that I really like my dog. So I said, to breed golden doodles on a farm, like what? Like I don't even really want to do that right now, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to write that down today on that list that I'm doing because it's in my head and my heart, and I'm going to write it down. So whatever your heart and head is telling you, write it down on that piece of paper. Get some quiet time, solitude time, and just sit there and listen. The second thing I'm having them do is I want you to write out 3 lists: personal accomplishments, financials, and things. Things is material items. I want you to write out on your personal accomplishments what you would like to accomplish in your lifetime. You can say in my decades, I want to do this in my 50s, this in my 40s, this in my 60s, like whatever it was. Or you're like, I don't even know when I want to do this, but this is what I want to accomplish in my lifetime. It's very important that you quiet that voice again that I'm talking about. And if you don't know that voice I'm talking about, we need to get on a one-on-one. That voice, I'll teach you how to quiet it down. And I want you to get into character of when you're writing these 3 lists of a little kid writing its list to Santa Claus. Like they think anything's possible, like anything, like I want a pinball machine that's pink, or like they believe anything is possible because they haven't been scathed and rejected, and all the things that we've been through, where it kind of the trauma that we go through that changes us. I want you to have that mindset and that heart of like anything's possible. What would I really like to accomplish in my life? And then when it comes to financials, write down what you would like to accomplish in your life when it comes to financials. I write down the decades of what I want my net worth to be. I write down what cash flow that I want. One of the things I said is, I'm 70 and this is my cash flow and this is what I do with the money. If you're like, well, I think I want that too, and I want investment properties, write it down, that number. I know the number that you need, that you desire. Let's say you want $20,000 cash flow a month in your 70s, to say, I get $20,000 cash flow from my businesses, and these are the businesses that I get. You might be like, I don't even have rental properties right now. That's that voice write it down. What if it comes to your heart and say, yeah, I want this and I want that. These are the cash flow areas that I want to come through. And if it's like, oh, I'm a owner in this real estate company that I work for and recruit for. Okay. I guess I'm a recruit. If I'm a 5-year-old kid writing out my little list to Santa Claus, and that anything is possible, I want you to surrender and release any limiting beliefs and with no limits. That's just an imaginary story. You're writing a list and you're listening to your heart and really writing what you truly desire, because I'm not going to ask you to read me the list. I was telling Sammy yesterday, if you really want, you can read it to me if you want, but I'm not going to read your list. No one's going to read your list unless you share it with somebody. So personal accomplishments, financial goals and things. So I coach a lot of good moms, and women who work actually harder than their husbands. It's really interesting, the dynamic, and it's really hard for those type of people to write down material items that they want. Stay in the imagination story. If you drive an SUV and you would love the idea of just getting in a clean, I don't even know what your favorite kind of car would be, that's a little convertible, like, and that the kids, there's no Cheetos in them, there's no whatever in it, that's like, that's your little car and you can take one of the kids to go run errands. Like, what does it look like? What's the brand? What are the colored seats? Like, write it out as if it was already happening. This is the car I want. What is it that you want? Services that you want done for you and your family, schooling that you want for your children. Well, that's more financials. Wardrobe, furniture that you want, material items. There's nothing humble by not wanting anything for your life or your children, because you can write out what you want for your children too, material items that you want. Okay, and after you write those 3 lists, I want you to pick 5 from each list, 5 from personal, 5 from financial, and 5 from things that you know that you can fully accomplish in 2025. Phase 2, I'll tell you what we're going to do with those 5. And Heather and I are going to do it. We're either going to do a Zoom dream board class, or we're going to do it on our December 5th event. So if you have your pen and paper, mark your calendar for December 5th. We're just about to launch the event. Y'all get to come for free if you're in our coaching program. So it's going to be really good. So getting the 5 from each of those. Then 2 more steps is, I want you to write out the vision for your life with pen and paper. And there's 2 ways that you can do it. You can look at the different domains of life. You can either look at the wheel of life, or the main 4 domains that I speak on that I don't have the wheel of life. I use the wheel of life to break it down really intense. But there's really 4 domains of life. It's relationship and intimacy, living your life's purpose, business and finance, and body and health. And you can say, well, this is the vision I have when it comes to my relationships and intimacy. This is a vision that I have for my body and health, what I do, how I move my body, what I put into it, my wellness, whatever it is when it comes to body and health. Business, we basically already talked a little bit about with financials. What's that vision for your life? Not like, oh, for just for 2025. We're talking big. This is what the next phase. We're going to get into reality when it comes to the next phase of phase 2 of this call, where I'm going to put things more into action for you. But write it down as if like I could say, I mean, I'm very, very open. Like, I can say, I teach on stage with Tony Robbins and I teach on stage with John Maxwell. Like, it's kind of funny when I say that, and I'm vulnerable enough to say it to you, but that's in my head and my heart. I know there's so much more in me, and I might not, and I'm not going to even say that, because I'm not going to say that over my life. But yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to write for living my soul's purpose. And it's not going to be about business and finance, because it's not about money to me anymore. It's about what can I do to teach and impact other people, because when I teach and impact other people, it trickles down to their their family, their children, and it changes the world. Ooh, I just got excited saying that. Okay, so writing out the vision for your life. So you can look at the domains of life, or what I do is I talk about how I wake up. I wake up in the morning. This is how my room feels. This is the type of bed I'm in, the sheets I'm in, the blacked out curtains that I have. I wake up to no alarm. This is what my morning routine is like. This is when I have my first appointments. This is I'm so specific, like super specific. This is what I wear. This is who I hang out with. These are I just super, super, super specific. And then I'll tell you again with phase 2 of this call or our meeting of what we're going to do with that. And then again, the voice and the heart of a 5-year-old when doing it. Don't be like, me, how am I ever going to make something wrong? Like, how? No, I don't care. I'm writing it down and I'm going to say it out loud and I'm going to teach y'all how to continue to put that in front of you and put it in your heart because it's I need to find a better word because I don't like the word magic, but it is just like this magic that happens. It's energy and it starts to come your way. And then lastly, I'm going to hold our students accountable for a vision board. So again, it's going to be either November or at our December event, and it's going to be high level vision boards. We're not going to have we're not going to have magazines here that we're like, oh, let me look for my vision. Nope. You're going to know exactly what your vision is. You're going to know exactly what it is that you want. And I'm going to teach you how to get those visions and get them onto the board without flipping through a magazine. And don't get me wrong, we may actually have some magazines in there because y'all may have a vision of a beautiful home or health and fitness or abs. I might have get some health, I'm going to look at a health book with abs. So I'd be like, oh, yep, I'm going to put those abs on there and I'm going to put this. So it'll be fun for like that if you want to grab some fun photos. But we're going to do high level vision boards. And it's just so much better. It's so much better. And if you ever do those vision board classes and you get invited to them and you have them, go. It's fun. I'm not knocking those, but I've paid more than my college degree for my coaching and to grow myself. I've paid coaches thousands of dollars, like for 6 months, and it gave me amazing results. I was telling one of my coaching students yesterday where I place my dream board and an additional flip book that I create. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's like floppy. It's my flip book. And I'm also going to teach you and show you how to do this. I'm also going to give you the material to do it. I have tons of this because I love to teach it. And there's another way that you can do it. So if you're not going to do a vision board where you're going to do it this way, there's one way that I did it 5 years ago, and I'm going to do it this way this year with my daughter. So I paid a coach for 6 months, $96,000. She claimed to do X, Y, and Z with me, my business, my mindset, my this, my that. And she brought it. She brought it like, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. And the first thing she had me do, she said, I want you to draw out the vision for your life. And I was like, I don't draw. I used to think I was all kind of hot stuff. Like I don't have time to draw with this and this and that. She's like, I want you to draw. And I was like, well, I'm paying her enough. I need to be a good student. Because when you pay big attention. And so I was like, okay. So I wrote down and I was like, oh, my little daughter likes to draw. So I was like, hey, Sloan, we're going to do a project. So we got a poster board, we cut it in half and we drew it out. And I'm going to go in our next call in November or our December 5th, or my one-on-one clients know what I'm talking about when it comes to drawing this out. I did it. It was the coolest, amazing experience. And I'm going to do it this year with my daughter again. I'll probably invite my husband in to do it because we used to have drawing contests when she was little because she liked to do it. So I'm just going to do it a different way. And I am going to update my flip book in a different way this year too. And I'll share more of that with you later. So we have 1 minute left for any questions that you have. But before any questions, I want to tell you two things and leave you with these, is that you are the greatest project that you will ever, ever work on. It will heal you. It'll heal your family. It'll heal your business and everybody that you work around and get to impact and talk to and tell. And that it is never too late to reset, restart, refocus as many times as you need to. So it's 10:30 and I'm actually going to have to pop off. If you do have any questions, you can DM me directly. Coaching students, if I already have my call with you, get ready. And if I already have, get on your homework because your deadline is due according to you. Thank you so much for jumping on, guys. And I'm going to say hi, Tess. I wanted to say hi. Hi, Melina. And hi, Juanita. She's off, but I know she's listening. I just want to wish you guys a fantastic rest of your week and have a good day.
Thanks, Mandy.
You
Bye.
bet.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.